this is Chris Young with 80/20 CRM, and we are going to cover roles in 80/20 CRM and Salesforce platform. Now, roles are typically going to be managed by an admin. So if you're not an admin, you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, not a big deal, that's okay. If you are and you want to make sure that everyone's got the right hierarchical structure, roles is an important thing to know about. So from the front end, click the gear icon, go to setup, and you can type in role, easiest way to get there, and you'll see roles, or it's always in the users section up top here too. Users, roles. Now roles go hand in hand with profiles and permission sets. It's part of the security and sharing hierarchy or framework of Salesforce. Roles help expand or contract what someone can see, the records they have access to. Now you'll notice you've got an admin at the top here, and then you have a senior leadership team. Now an admin, the reason why they need to be up here is there are some things that admins can do that no one else can, obviously. But there are something called orphan contacts, for example, that only an admin can see. You want to make sure they have access to all of those so they can fix them. Orphan contacts are business contacts that don't have an account, whether that account was deleted or something happened, and only admins can see them. It's a weird thing. No one else can see orphan contacts, I guess, so that they don't, cause problems throughout the system. So SLT, senior leadership team. Then you have executive. By the way, you can change these if you'd like. We do have some things tied to them. So there are a few important ones in here, but we'll just try and show you what this looks like. So executive across all of real estate, right? So a lot of businesses, you may have an REI team and a brokerage, but you could have maybe an executive or a director or VP of operations running real estate. And so that's what this represents. And then you may have a lead manager that helps both your retail and investor leads, perhaps, or at least they need access over all of that. So that would give them access to all of both retail and REI leads and data for that matter, just to see where that lead goes for reporting and other purposes. Transaction coordinator, again, the same. Need to be able to manage all the transactions across both retail and REI. And then a director of REI. So this would be someone that's responsible for all the REI operations. A regional manager, if you've got it broken down by regions or territories. And then a local manager that may be running your team locally. So they may have a lead manager, an acquisitions manager, or sales manager underneath them as well. Or it could be a sales manager running those teams. And then you have the lead manager here, and you might wonder why they're above some of these other roles. Let me expand these out so you can see what's in here. And there should be, there they are. And that is because lead managers often need access to leads, but then also opportunities and transactions to make sure they get appointments set and to follow up with things, or perhaps it comes back and they need to work it again. Really useful for a lead manager to be able to see most everything that's going on moving forward. They have so much data that comes into them and need to be able to push it forward and keep track of it. Then inside sales team and a lead qualifier. So if you've got those teams running and usually just managing your leads as they come in or outbound work. And then you have a transaction coordinator, an acquisitions manager and dispositions manager and or agents or specialists underneath that transaction coordinator. That allows the TC to see anything and everything coming in to them from any of the dispo or acquisition teams. Really important for them to be able to see all of that so that they don't lose track of anything. So that's that structure, and then you'll notice the retail side follows fairly similarly. And the retail side, we have a little bit difference in brokers. So we've got a director of retail, regional manager, and then a designated broker. Typically each office or location, usually state, but it kind of depends. We'll have a designated broker, and then also you might have an associate broker for each satellite location, or just to help with that designated broker. And then a lot of times you have a team lead as well. You have different teams running. And then lead manager, real estate agent, and transaction coordinator. Often your real estate agents are lead managers, but it just depends how it's set up. So that's how this one's running anyway. Now you can reparent these, right? I can edit my REI manager. I can change the name. I can change who it reports to, etc. And I can also change what access they have. Something to keep in mind, a lot of the reports we have built and a lot of the automation does look at these roles to try and make sure we're in the right place. So something to keep in mind, but it's yours, so you're welcome to change those as you need. It may cause some trouble, but just something to have there. So those roles, let them see specific records or not. So a lead manager can see everyone's records below them. An inside sales agent, they can't see another inside sales agent's records unless it's public in the sharing rules. But they could see if there was anyone, underneath them in hierarchy, they could see that. So if I added another, like a junior, inside sales junior, for example, I could add that role and then they'd be able to see those records. All right. Hopefully that was helpful on roles. I know I spent a little bit of time on that, but good to know what they do and how they work throughout the system. This is Chris Young with 80/20 CRM. Thanks for joining me on Roles in Salesforce.